Actually going to start this evening kneeling down. So I'm going to take my block, going to have that portrait and down towards my ankles, bring my knees together and sit back down onto the block. Now, if you've got sore knees at that point, if it feels like too much strain through the tendons, you can always bring another block or a brick underneath as long as it's going across the sitting bones. We'll just sit nice and tall. It takes about a minute for your calf muscles to start to relax, and then that puts a bit of ease back into the knee joints as well. So it's not so much that your knees get used to it, it's that the muscles relax a little bit, give you a bit of space to move into. Nice long easy breath, just thinking about our posture a little bit. We'll start to take some shoulder shrugs as well. So just drawing them up and rolling them back. If you want to keep your breath in line with your shoulder movements, you can do. But if that's not happening for you this evening, don't worry too much about it. As long as you do breathe in and out, that's quite important. And ideally, those shoulders would feel like they're running nice and smoothly. They're a bit gritty, then this is exactly why we do this, to try and get that feeling to leave the body. And we'll see if we can take the opposite way around, which can feel a little stronger across the front of the chest. And then I'm going to float the arms out nice and wide. Just bringing the right arm across, using the left arm to lock and draw the shoulder round so I can breathe a little bit more onto that shoulder blade. And we'll float out and cross over the opposite way. As ever with these classes, take them at your own pace. If there's any sharp pains, let yourself move out of the pose. You need to add any variations or adaptations in. Allow yourself to do that. Feel happy that you're taking control and making the practice your own. If you've got any injuries, just be hyper careful about how you move around and through those. Or release the arms down. So they could let ourselves lift up a little bit. I'm going to move that block out towards the front of the mat. Coming up onto all fours, starting to open the knees out a little bit. They are going to take a little bit of a time to stretch out behind as we press out through the heels. And then once both legs have been stretched and the toes feel like they've come back to life, we're going to take the knees down to the floor, widest, toes together. We'll sit onto the heels to start with. Make sure everything moves in nicely, and then walk the fingers out. So we keep the spine nice and long. Head very much comes down last. Lift up onto the fingertips. Just big breaths here, letting the ribs expand out. Especially if you've been sitting all day back at the desk, you need to get those ribs moving around nicely. We'll take that into a side bend. So lifting the head, we'll move gently over towards the right side. So letting the ribs rest against that thigh. And still about shoulder distance apart. And we'll lift up and cross gently over to the opposite side. Doing that first little stretch into the lower back muscles. Bring the hands forwards again. We'll lift up onto all fours. Let's bring the knees back underneath. I'm going to come into a melting heart pose. So we'll keep the hips where they are. Walk the hands slowly out. Allow the chest to sink to the ground. Keeping the belly drawn in, pressing to the shins a little bit. Ears level with the arms. The belly's drawn in. Very much holding position here. Strong through those shoulders. And to move out of that, we'll walk the fingers back. So we're able to sit down onto our haunches again. And then from there, we can lift up onto all fours. Making an effort to spread the fingers out nice and wide. We'll begin some cat-cow, just drawing the chest forward. Rolling the shoulders back. Tilting the pelvis. Rounding the spine. Letting the head drop in. And we're practicing this in the evening. So we've had the whole day to get the body moving around a little bit, so we can be quite strong with this in terms of drawing the belly in and getting that spine to round. It was the morning and it was pretty much the first thing we've been doing in terms of a stretch through the day, then it would be taking it a lot easier. Pressing into the hands, lifting the body as high as I can, just emphasizing the movements. We'll come back into neutral and tuck the toes underneath. We're going to move into down dogs. Send the knees back and up into our down dog position. Again, making sure the hands are nice and flat. Again, depending on what you've been doing during the day, you might want to pedal the legs out a little bit. If you've done lots of classes already today, you might just want to be steady in your down dog with your heels pressing towards the back of the mat, the hips lifting and the hands pressing down. On the down dog, we're going to walk the hands towards the toes. Bend the knees enough so your ribs and your thighs can meet. Again, you're going to feel difference in your body if you're doing this morning or evening. And take a few breaths here. Just pressing the feet lightly into the floor, lifting the hips, drawing the belly in. And soften the knees. Get the hands over the hips as you draw the body forwards, and then on the exhale, lift my way up. Put the arms up to the sky on the inhale. And hands straight to heart. Going to exhale down. Hands onto the hips. On the inhale, shoulders and elbows back, soft knees, and let myself lift. take that one more time. Hands through the heart. Into the hips. Down we go. Bring the hands onto the hips again. We'll lift up. Now, as you take your arms wide, zigzag your feet together so they touch. A little bit of a gap between the ankle bones. You're going to soften your knees over your toes and then sit back into your heels into the chair. But extend the arms out, following the line of your shoulders. Take a breath in. And on the exhale, we'll see if we can sink back an inch. We'll take another breath in. See if we can sink an inch. Take another breath in. See if we can sink an inch. Sink another inch. And see if we can take a last one. Right for the legs to lift our way back up. And the arms come out to the side, and we'll walk into the front of the mat, just giving it a little stake out. Keep the arms wide again on the inhale, taking the hands high above the head, hands into the heart. We'll hinge at the hips and coming down to the floor. Taking a little breath and sending the left foot to the back of the mat into a lunge. We'll be up on the fingertips. You want to press out through that back leg as strong as you can. Try and keep your shoulders away from your ears so they're nice and relaxed. Just sticking at your knee over your ankles so that chin is vertical. Some of the muscles are drawn in a little bit, so it's a very active stretch back. I'm going to drop the heel in, come into warrior two. You can cartwheel up, taking the left hand forwards, or bring the hands onto the thigh. It really is your choice. We'll emphasize the work in the legs a little bit by lifting the front heel and pressing into the back foot, making sure the chest is nicely open to that long side of the mat. Now let the heel come down to the floor, straightening the front leg. Going to move into triangle pose. You're going to lengthen out. Now you can take your brick or your blocks, if they were at the front of the mat, hopefully, and allow yourself to bring a hand onto the top of that. So if you've got a couple of blocks, you could play around with how high you want that to be. You're going to wrap the top arm around the body. That becomes a bit of a reverse bind. The fingers move towards the lower thigh. You press into the feet. If you want to challenge your balance a little more, look towards the ceiling, roll that top shoulder back, opening the chest towards the sky. We'll take one more breath here. And then soften the front knee. Come back up. Warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Bring the hands onto the hips, following the center line of the mat. We're going to hinge out into the triangle pose again, but we're going to keep the hands on the hips this time, turning the chest up. You want to come down so your body is parallel to the ground, or as close as you can get to that, keeping the spine nice and long. Now soften the front knee to come back into our warrior two. Put the arms high and take it out towards the front of the mat and down to the floor. And a step into the front of the mat into a full bend. Hands onto the hips. Soft knees on the lift. With the arms wide on the inhale. Hands through the heart. Into the hips and down to the floor. We'll take that breath in. Bend the right foot back into the lunge. We play around with our positioning a little bit. We'll be on the fingertips. Pressing out through the heel, getting the leg nice and strong. You should be able to feel that all the way into your buttocks. It starts to lift a little bit as you press back, as well as the muscles around your knee lifting, contracting a little. So drop the back heel in again. That says cartwheel or lift into warrior two through your choice. We'll take the front heel off the ground again. Deliberately putting some weight into that back foot and trying to make sure that the body is upright, so we're not leaning forwards a little bit into that warrior two. Might only seem a little bit, but it makes a big difference where the hips sit, where the weight is emphasized in the body. You're going to let the heel come down, straightening the leg, send the hips back a little bit, lengthening out. I'm going to take my brick again, just adjust that a little bit underneath me. Wrap the top arm around, and then opening chest, looking, feeling wide. Soften the front knee, back into warrior two, straightening the legs, hands onto the hips, extend out sideways. Soften the front knee to come back into warrior two. Get hands high, out towards the front of the mat, down to the floor we go. We'll step forwards again into the forward fold. I'm going to move the bricks and blocks out to the front of the mat so it's away and clear of the mat. Bring the hands onto the hips and let myself lift up. We'll take the hands high on the inhale, bring them through the heart on the exhale down, softening the knees. Taking a little breath, bending the left foot back into the lunge, dropping the heel in. We're going to cartwheel through to warrior two. I'll turn the palm and take that into reverse warrior. Whilst we're here, we'll wrap that rear arm around. Come gently back into warrior two. We'll take the hands high, rotate first, lengthen out second, hands to the floor. We're stepping back, down dog. We're going to take a few breaths here each time. Now, the next in-breath, we'll come forwards into that high plank, keeping the hips high. We'll move into half plank, bring the elbows into the body. Bootlaces turn down. We'll inhale on the way up dog. Use the exhale to roll back to our down dog. We'll sizzle the left leg high, keeping the hips square. Tippy toe, draw the knee in towards the chest. Bring the foot through silently between the hands. Into the lunge, we take a breath on the fingertips and push forwards off the back toe into that forward bend. Hands onto the hips, we'll lift up. Take it high. Hands through the heart. Soft knees as ever, coming down. Take a breath. Right leg back into the lunge. Drop the heel in. Keep the arms alongside the body. Take it up. Warrior two. Send the palm on the front hand, that reverse warrior. Then back again. Get the hands high. Rotate. Then we lengthen out, come down. Stepping back. Round down dog. Remember, we got those breaths here to catch ourselves up if we need to. And just to emphasize getting better into our down dog. Maybe a little deeper, a little more open. We'll take the next breath in to that plank, half plank, up dog. Roll it back to down dog. We'll scissor the right leg this time. Remember, trying to keep the hips square, knee to the chest. Bring the foot through. And push off the toes. Forward bend. Hands under the hips, we'll inhale up. We'll inhale high. Hands under the heart. We're just going to add a little bit more to that. Exhaling down. Taking the breath. We'll send the left foot back. And make sure the left hand's on the ground. We're taking the right hand into a closed twist. Breath in. Bring the hand back down so the arm and the leg press against each other. We'll take the opposite hand up into the open twist. Still strong back leg. Hand comes to the floor. We'll lift onto the fingertips. Drop the back heel in and open ourselves into our warrior two. Front hand lift into that reverse warrior. Coming back. Taking the hands high. Rotating out to the front of the mat. Down to the floor. Stepping back again. Go a few breaths. And then inhale to the plank. Half plank and up dogs. Down dog. Let's do that left leg high. Knee to chest. So as you bring the foot through. Push off the back foot. Try and keep the hands, feet parallel. Same distance apart as they started. Inhale up. And through the heart. We'll go into the second side. Exhaling down. Taking the breath, right foot back. Right hand on the floor. Left hand in the twist. Close. Coming back. Make an arm press against each other to help open up. Back down. Fingertips on the inhale. Drop the heel. We're ready to lift. Warrior twos. Turn the palm. Reverse warrior. Coming back. Hands come high. Rotate out and down. Stepping back to down dog. Few breaths. Inhale forwards. Plank, half plank and up dog. Rolled back into down. And scissor in the left leg high. Knee to chest and through. Fingertips for the lunge. Push off the back toes. Hands under the hips. Soft knees and we'll lift flat back. Second side. Sorry, not second side. I think that's the third side. Take a little breath there. We'll exhale down to the floor. One of these nights I'll get it right. We'll take a little breath. We'll send the left foot back. We're going to take the right hand for the twist. We'll come back down. We'll cross over to the other side. Coming back down. We're going to drop the back knee to the floor, untuck the toes. Put the hands alongside the body. Inhale it up. And then we're going to lengthen out and back down to the floor. We'll spin the front foot out to the side a little bit. We'll take that right hand up. And I'm going to place that onto the base of the spine. So opening the chest and dropping the hips a little. Pushing into the back shin just a fraction to help lift the chest. Now we'll scoot that up and over. Bring the foot back into alignment and step ourselves back into our down dog. And we're going to take the left foot under the right, so it's out towards the right side of the mat. As we come into a plank, we're going to swing the left leg forward so it's in line with the hand. Drop the back heel, Open the hand up towards the sky into a fallen angel. Coming back, down dog. Coming forwards into plank, half plank, up dog. Roll it back into down dog. And we'll scissor the left leg high, knee to chest and through. And stepping it forward, hands to the hips. And we'll lift up. Keep that hands high again. Hands through the heart. Exhale down to the floor. Take a breath. And extend the right foot back. We'll take the twist. Left hand comes up. Comes back down. Over to the opposite side. Back down. We'll drop the back knee. Untuck the toes. Put the hands forward. Lift it up. Bring it back down to the floor. Put the toes on the back foot. Drop the heel in. Lift into our warrior two. And the palm for reverse warrior. Coming back. Open the arms up. Out to the front of the mat. It's a down dog. This time the right foot comes under. Out to the left. We come into a plank again, taking the foot wide. Drop the heel in, keep the hips lifted. Coming back. The down dog. Taking the breath in, travel the plank. Half planks. The up dog. Roll it back into down dog. And the scissor the right leg high. Knee to chest. Bring the foot through. Take a little breath. We've got completely to do the lizards. Don't worry, we'll catch it on the next round. Exhaling back. Knew this was going to be complicated. Hands under the hips, and we'll lift up. We'll swoop up with the hands on the inhale. Bring the hands through the heart. Exhale down to the floor. We'll take a breath, sending the left foot back. We're taking the right hand for the twist. Coming back down again. We're going to the left. Coming back down again. Back knee drops to the floor. Swoop along. Inhale it up. Bring the hands down. We're going to spin the front foot out a little bit. Allow ourselves to take that right hand forwards. This time we're going to bring the rear heel in towards the sitting bones and see if we can catch. That'll be interesting to see if we can do that easily on the other side, having forgotten to do lizard with a hand on the base of the spine. Now, put the arms up, bring the feet back in, drop the heel in, we'll open into the warrior two, and the palm on the front hand, that reverse warrior. We'll come back, warrior two, swoop up, out to the end of the mat, step it back, down dog. So left foot comes under, to the right, swoop it forward, drop the heel in, lift the hips, open the chest, and come back. Keep it into down dog. We'll take it into plank, half plank, and up dog. Back into down dog. Scissor the left leg high. Knee to chest and foot through. Take a breath. We'll step it forward. Hands under the hips. Let ourselves lift. Last side. Hands through the heart, exhaling down. Take a breath. Right foot back. So right hand down, left hand lift. So we twist into the body. Bring the hand back down. Cross over to the opposite side. Coming back down. Dropping the back knee. Sweep the hands alongside as you untuck the toes. Inhale it up. Bring the hands down. Bring the front foot out a little bit to the side. Get the left hand forwards and up into the twist. We'll ease the back foot in, catch the toes. Draw the heel to the buttock. We'll release, move the back over. Come up onto the fingertips, drop the back heel in, we lift into warrior two. Reversed warrior. Coming back again. Hands come high and out to the front of the mat. Down we go. Into our down dog. Right foot comes under. We scoot forwards. Dropping the heel in, open it up again. Keep those legs nice and strong on the edges of the feet. The down dog. Into a plank. Half plank. Up dog. Roll it back into down dog. With that right leg high. Knees to chest and through. Take a breath. Ooh. Forward bend. Hands under the hips. Let us all lift up. Inhale high. Hands to the heart. Little breather here. Catch our breath. Let hands play out a little bit. And back to stillness. Put the arms up wide. On the inhale, hands into the heart, using our hips. Come down to the floor. And take a breath. We're sending the right foot back into our lunge. We're going to drop the back heel down to warrior two. Let ourselves lift up. We're going to straighten the front leg and come into triangle pose. So the hips go back a little bit, lengthen out. Bring the hand down onto the inside of the shin so you can press the back of your hand into the side of the shin, top hand to the sky. Hips just looking out to the side edge of your mat. Take a little breath. Now we're going to come back into warrior two. Take a little breath. I'm going to start to rotate the body towards the front of the mat, leaving the back foot where it was. And then slowly take that right hand down to the floor. So come back into the twist again, bringing the hips over the center line. Come back again by just dropping that rear hand around in a big clock so I can take both hands forwards and up. I'll open up into the warrior two again. Straightening the front leg. I'm going to turn the toes to the long side. Bring the hands onto the hips, shoulders and elbows back. Allow yourself to hinge forwards. I'm going to ease the fingers to the floor. I'll be up on the fingertips and just make a final little adjustment to the leg stance. And then allow myself to fold from the hip into that wide leg forward bend. Pressing into the feet, lifting the hips. Shoulders out nice and wide. We'll lift up. Walk the fingers around the long side of the mat. Take a little breath. We're stepping forward into the fold. And the hands onto the hips. Let ourselves lift up. Just put the arms wide. Bring the hands into the heart. Hinge down to the floor. Take a breath. We'll send the left foot back this time. Dropping the heel in. Now open up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. We'll take triangle pose again. So the hips go back a little bit. Lengthen out. Off on the front knee, we'll come back into warrior two. We're rotating again, leaving the back foot where it is. We start to come down into the foot. That's not so good. The microphone falling out of my ear. Is that back in? Not had that happen before. Now the top hand, we just take it back towards the hip. As the hands come forward, the chest lines towards the front of the mat. We'll lift the hands up. We'll open into warrior two, straightening the front leg. Turn the toes in, but this time we're going to take the hands behind the back, draw the shoulder blades together. Exhale slowly. Remember, little micro bends in the knees if you need to. Just keep your back safe. You can always work into the hamstrings once you come down. Squeezing the thighs and the groins together a little bit. Making some more space in the shoulders to drop the hands a little further to the outside edge. Now we'll bring the hands down carefully to the floor underneath. We lift up halfway, then we're clear to move into the lunge. To the front of the mat, we'll take a breath, step into that forward bend. Hands under the hips, lifting our way up. And then put the arms up wide. Bring the hands into the heart. Exhale down to the floor. Going to step back into down dog. And then come on to the knees. So I'm just going to make a little bit more space for myself at the front of the mat. And I'm going to come down onto my elbows. Slide the feet back. So a little elbow plank for a mini second. Letting the hips come down to the floor. And untucking the toes. So a little bit of Sphinx pose. Hands together and elbows as wide as the shoulders. We'll draw the chest forward a little bit. The belly in. Roll the heels out. Make some space in the lower back. Now we're going to let the chin come back down to the floor. So we're taking the hands down by the side of the body. We're going to work on our locust pose. So we're just going to take the top half of the body. So make sure your heels are still rolling out. You're pressing your thighs to the floor and the legs away. On the inhale, we'll lift the chest, hands from the ground. And exhale back down. Just lifting up until that bottom rib feels like it's just to start to depart from the floor, and that's as far as we go. Keep the head more or less in line with the body. We squeeze the shoulder blades together. Exhale it back down. Inhale it up. Back down. We'll take two more of these. Last one. Now this time we'll take the top half of the body, but also take the thighs away from the floor at the same time. And we'll come down on the exhale. Try and point out through the toes to get the legs straight. No bendy knees. Lifting up. And back down. We'll take three more of these. And last one. Then we come up again exactly the same. We're going to hold for 5 breaths. Last breath in. And we're back down. Going to bring the hands underneath the ribs, shoulders and elbows back, press into the hands. I'm going to peel away from the floor. Come up onto all fours. I'm going to take a breath in and allow myself to extend the left hand out to the side. I'm going to open that up and then fold that under and through and drop the shoulder in here to the ground. And if you're able to press into your bottom shoulder to take the stress out of your neck, you can lift your right hand up to the sky and bind it around your body, fingers towards that front thigh. Pressing the chin lightly into the floor, rolling the top shoulder over. And we'll scoop the top arm up and over, bring it back down, going to press into the floor, take it to the opposite side. So right arm comes up and opens, fold that under. So same again, press down through that bottom shoulder. If we're able to, we can take the top hand away from the floor and bind it around the body. Otherwise, we just keep the hand on the ground. You might find that you might feel more coordinated on one side and pressing the shoulder down. So if you want to do one of one and one of the other, that's perfectly okay. We'll just try and get that neck nice and safe. And we'll scoop the top arm up again, bring it down to the floor, we'll press away. We're going to swing the feet out to the side and allow ourselves to come into bridge pose. So I'm going to make sure you're at least halfway down your mat, so as you roll back, your head actually hangs on the mat. And we'll take the feet as wide as the hips. Turn the toes in and the heels out slightly once we've arrived. So just a little bit of a movement. We'll keep the knees over the top of the ankles. Going to take a breath in. I'm going to start to curl the tailbone away from the floor. I curl that as far as I can. And then I'm going to press down through the feet and the shins to lift the hips a little higher. And I'm going to press the shins into the floor, walk them a little closer together, bring the hands underneath my body, press the back of my arms into the ground. Maximize hip stabilization whilst we're here. I'm going to take a little breath and I'm going to come up onto the tiptoe of my right foot. So I'm having to work a little harder into the left. Now I'm going to try and keep the thighs the same height, but I'm going to extend the right foot gently out. Nice and straight pointy toe. To make it more fun, I'm going to lift that leg vertical. And then I'm going to lengthen it back out again. Bend at the knee to bring the foot gently to the floor. Rearrange the feet, make sure I'm nice and square. Still pressing down through the back of the arms and through the feet. Going to tiptoe to the left foot and extend out. Doing my best to keep the hips square and aligned. Using that sort of tremble and wobble around a little bit or a lot. And lift that leg high, so as vertical as they can get, pointy toe. Then we lengthen the leg out again, slow. Then take the bend to the knee, foot to the floor. A last little lift of the hip. And we're going to release the hands. And ease the spine down to the floor. I'm going to bend at the elbows and allow myself to have some wrist circles whilst I'm enjoying having my spine back on the floor. I'm going to start to wiggle the feet as close into my bottom and the center line with the knees together. And then draw the left knee in towards the body. I'm going to take the hands down the back of the thigh with the hands interlaced, holding onto the top part of the hamstring. I'll extend the leg up to the sky. I'm going to have a bit of a flexed foot, toes spread, and press the leg into the hands. The heel presses high, hips pull down, belly draws in. Keep that nice long neck, especially if you notice that your chin moves around a little bit. You want to just wriggle out the neck and get it nice and long. That will bring the feet back down to the floor. Cross over to the opposite side. Bring that foot down as well. With the spine nice and long, I'm going to draw the knees in towards my body. I'm going to take the hands not quite underneath my bottom, but I want my thumb at least feeling like it's underneath the cheeks, and stretch the hands far to the front of the mat as I can. I'm going to draw the belly to the ground, so I'm going to get as much of my spine flat on the floor. And then I'm simply going to take the toes up towards the sky with hopefully straight legs and the feet directly over the hips. We keep working on trying to straighten the legs. Draw the knees in. Wrap the arms around the shin. Wriggle from side to side. I'm going to come into happy baby. So whilst I'm here, it's easy to reach the hands around the little toes, making the knees wide. But then I need to remember to roll my spine gently to the ground so that my neck needs to be nice and long. I press the tailbone forwards. So now I'm in a good position. I can lift the soles of the feet directly above the knees. I'm just going to press the tailbone away from me a little bit. I obviously need to have a strong grip, so I try to relax the shoulders at the same time. in to let the feet come back down to the floor. Take care. Bringing the heels into the groin, releasing gently. So I can unravel the spine to the floor carefully as I need to. I'll take the feet close into the body, a little off of the center line, but I'm going to take the arms out wide in line with the chest. Remember, your chest is lower than your shoulders, your ears, and the top of your head. So it's going to feel like they're quite a long way down your body. I'll take a little breath and allow the hips to move over towards the right. So let legs roll gently to the left, turning the head the opposite way. Now you can, if you want to, take your left hand and place it on top of the right leg to add even more weight if you wish to. But remember, bigger is not always better. Allow yourself to relax into this. We're trying to soften the hips, the lower back, and the breath. We'll lift the legs back up. Cross over gently to the opposite side. And your choice is how deep you move into the twist. And we'll bring the legs back up again. We're ready to hopefully move to Shavasana. We're going to slide the heels out to the corner edges of the mat. And then the hands come a little closer into the body, palms up. Eyes closed. Hands relaxed. Toes rolled out. Let yourself melt into the mat for a few minutes. Begin to breathe a little deeper, wiggling the fingers and toes. Breathing again, nice long breaths. We'll just roll the ankles and wrists so we can connect the entire nervous system back up gently. Bringing ourselves back into the room and into our bodies. Take a longer breath from there and then use that to stretch in any way that feels instinctive to you. Slide the heels along the ground if you haven't already brought the legs towards you. And we'll bring the knees in towards the body. Taking the hands lightly around the shin. Rocking a little from side to side, build some momentum. We'll take a breath in. Use the exhale to roll over to the right side. Turn the chest over to the same side, bring hands underneath and press to the floor to lift up gently. We'll come back to sitting. Easy posture to bring the hands to your heart. We'll close the eyes once we're here, taking the breath in. Begin to exhale slowly, letting the chest and the chin meet. We'll drop the head into a bow, beginning our practice for the evening. Inhale, we'll let the spine lift with the breath. Allow the head to follow, eyes to open. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining me this evening. Hope you enjoyed stumbling my way through another class as I do. Hopefully see you on the mat again soon. Take care.